Well, welcome to News Game Plus. Again, first one for the year, actually.
Yes.
And I'm Dermie, and I'm here with New Game Plus executive producer
Yeah, it would be the
Jason.
first one for you, because that's right, we didn't do last week. So last week, should we tell people why we couldn't do last week?
I was making pancakes.
No, I had COVID.
That was a week before.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was, a week before.
I was going to get a COVID test on the Sunday. And only get the results back on Monday night, and we were like, screw it, we'll skip a
trying
week.
to kill all us old people. Trying to murder us, give us germs. So
Seffi, download the app. We do apologise. That is Zuck. As I said, round 4, goddamn Zuck. You are busting my balls here.
Yeah, they could stress less about banning giant orange idiots and concentrate more on getting their shit
working. Get their goddamn apps working.
I don't care. I can ignore the orange idiot. I'd just rather everything worked, guys. It's priorities, please. But anyway, so we are going to quickly finish off our recap of 2020, and because we thought that was the worst year ever. I saw today that they've actually announced that Sex and the City is going to get a remake with the original cast. So 2021 has now become the worst year ever.
And you know what the worst thing is? It's going to be like all those bad Hollywood movies that do this after 15 years, and they'll introduce like the kid or the niece or someone like that who's like, she's in touch with the Zoomers. And so it's like Zoomer sexual positivity.
They can do an all-girl reboot.
Well, they can, that's true.
Actually, it'd be Golden Girls effectively now because they're that old. So surely that horse would be out to pasture by now.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
So let's look at the news, because we got up last year to the start of March.
Yes.
Last year was last podcast. So now we're at March 19, and it starts getting big now.
Yes.
Because I think this might have been the first one we did not in person.
Yes, I think that's true as well. That was the one when we had.
And this is when I was able to become a little bit braver.
Yeah.
Because I was in a different
suburb.
suburb.
Yeah.
So this should be fun. Basically self-isolating, which gamers are familiar with and tech people are familiar with, became mainstream because back in the mid-March we got told to all stay home.
Yeah.
And everything changed. And it's the last podcast we're going on about, E3 changes and PAX Australia dates. And it was also carefree, wonderful.
Also naive, looking back. Yeah.
But also there was talk about the Xbox Series X was still coming, but they were announcing a lot of stuff about backward compatibility. And Steve Wright from Survivor was doing some excellent work, publishing that stuff. Call of Duty Warzone Battle Royale.
Yep.
I think it just come out, which is good. Play that instead of Fortnite.
Yes.
So definitely did not play Fortnite. Play Call of Duty. Call of Duty Warzone. My son plays that. It's fantastic.
It's good. Yeah. It's and the fact that it works on all consoles and all PC. You can party up. I enjoyed the Call of Duty Cold War. The multiplayer.
Ronald Reagan in it.
Yeah, but you can't shoot him in the head. You could shoot. They had the one with
needs a patch.
They had the one with like Kennedy and stuff, but you can't shoot him. I mean, again
needs a patch. They really need to.
Steffi wants us to review the USA. Yeah,
review the USA.
Here's a review of the USA. If only John Hinckley was a better shot.
Well, you know what? I am enjoying Steffi the season finale of USA. But as usual, they're dragging it out because they did that with Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. They take the final in the series and they just drag it out for suspense.
Hopefully, it's not disappointing as Game of Thrones. That'll be
where a dragon came in and burnt everything down.
I've never seen
spoiler alert. It was shit.
I've never seen
season 3.
I've never seen a show leave the cultural zeitgeist as quickly as Game of Thrones did. It was all everyone talked about, and then that ending was so bad that nobody talks about it.
What about all the people that named their daughters Khaleesi?
and as an Australian, you hear Khaleesi, and it's like we're killing rabbits. You know what I mean? Like... It's like, the Khaleesi virus. Yeah, nice. Yeah, my other daughter, Mixo. Yeah.
Mixo, I was going to say. Actually, if you hang around, Seffi, I may exactly do that. So that was first. That was just March. We'll move a bit quicker than last week. What else happened there? We did have a discussion, one of many, about should games and movies and streaming TV pay attention to the worlds they build instead of the characters. Now, this was about Last of Us 2.
Yes.
And you were worried at the time, I remember.
Yeah.
Was Last of Us 2 committing a mistake by having Joel and Ellie in it?
Yeah.
And Joel with his...
And I still feel that's true to an extent.
Yeah. Well, he went golfing, didn't he? But he was in flashbacks. But basically, yeah. And that was I thought that was good because, yes, if you're going to go for TV shows and other things, if you fixate on the characters, then it can get stale. But in saying that, the general population falls in love with the characters. So, and that's probably what Game of Thrones at the start got away with just killing everybody, and not doing that, and then at the end started bringing people back to life and shit.
Look, and I think again, obviously we'll discuss Last of Us a lot throughout this, no doubt.
No, that's the last. That's the last.
That's
I can't think of the other reason.
So I can scarf at the same time. Like it really does. I still think they managed it. I still think they landed it. It was wobbly. I still think the last backflip didn't work very well, but they landed it. I'm pretty happy with it. I can't really fault them too heavily.
But the point was, we should look at if you're going to build a game world, sometimes the world is the thing you like.
Correct.
The characters are good, but I think as a general entertainment product thing, where
I'm surprised it was that close. They were that close to each other, and that to me was probably the big thing. That,
what do you mean?
As in the release, the date of the first game and the date of the second game. Like I say, I think a one set in the world down the track would have been better, but I still think they managed to nail the landing. I'm surprised that it was only like a 4-year gap. 5
so
years.
If they do Last of Us Part 3,
that should be 10 years down the track. It should be the fallout of
Is it going to be Abby though?
I think it will. I think it'll be Abby and little Asian girl.
Yeah, but that's what they're going to do. So it won't be 10 years down the track. It'll be a follow-on. Because that's very much the games. Now, we were talking about this before the podcast. Games and movies are like the example we used when we were talking off air was Kingsman, right?
Yes.
Kingsman first movie, fantastic. Kingsman second movie was clearly, hey, what did everyone like about the first one? We're giving you more of that. And video games.
I heard you like,
and video games do that really badly.
All the time.
You're probably going to get because Druckmann does like his controversy. He does like to play the victim a bit.
That's true.
So he's going to go Abby because it's going to get him a lot of coverage, and it's going to get him a lot of the usual bunch of people on Twitter who don't matter.
Like I said in my review, just avoid Druckmann's Twitter and you'll be okay. Just avoid Druckmann's Twitter. If you don't like bullshit, just avoid his Twitter and you're Gucci.
I think generally don't, other than obviously
it's
us,
the horse, not the horse shit.
Don't get to don't like follow the people you like on Twitter, because you'll find out they're dickheads.
Look, all that stuff that does go onto Spotify after this.
Yes, it does.
I actually did get a notification in emails that you didn't pay the SoundCloud this month.
No, but probably. Yeah. I'll do that.
Just tell you.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone, SoundCloud. It's Christmas. Right. Bring up the next podcast. What are we up to? Cool. That was podcast 41. Let's go to 42. These one we prepared earlier.
Did I go past 42? There we go.
It's one of the ones.
It's another Last of Us one.
They're like most of our podcasts last year. We were effectively the Last of Us podcast, and closely followed by Sonic.
The Last of Us podcast featuring Sonic. Sonic golfing adventures.
All right. There's a delay of Last of Us 2. This is back start of April last year. Near Replicant getting remastered. I don't know what that was.
So Nier was a game that came out on 360 and PS3, very underrated title, and it was weird because it came out in Japan and you played as the brother, and it came out in the West and you played as the dad, I'm pretty sure. And so Replicant...
Everyone shows the Nier pictures of the chick.
Yes, which is Kaine.
Okay.
Kaine, which is funny because we talk about Last of Us. Laura Bailey got a gong at the thing from... I don't know. I hate this so much. I don't know why it does that.
Oh, by the way, Simon just said the best comment ever, and he can have another T-shirt for that. Yeah. He said he watched Sonic after my recommendation. It wasn't bad.
He's got to stop.
You can have another one. I'm going to send you another one, Simon. Remind me of your size.
Anyway,
you can't have one of these ones. This is special.
He stole it off Junglist last time. Yeah.
I'm Hex.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look, not even touching that.
I love Pilot Wings.
Laura Bailey got...
How good's Pilot Wings?
How good is Pilot Wings? Laura Bailey got the gong for Best Actress, Best Actor, voice acting in for Last of Us for Abby, and I feel that Kaine, she was much better as Kaine than she was as Thing. Kaine was a much better role, so yeah.
No, if you watch the Sonic movie, that's what you get, Simon. Give it up. Watch it again.
Yeah.
Every week.
We have a lot of T-shirts if you haven't guessed.
Epic Games getting into publishing. What were we talking about there? Was that Epic Games still?
That was a percentage, yeah.
Cool. And Randy Pitchford was being Randy Pitchford. Yeah. I can't remember what we were referring to.
I think that was the lawsuit, wasn't it? Where they were talking about.
Okay, the USB. All right. Okay, so his lawyer had a USB of well, he barely legal porn,
Barely legal
basically.
porn.
Barely legal being. Do I have to explain this to the category of women that
look
like they might be under 18, but for legal reasons they're over 18. They just look young.
They hold up their driver's license and.
Okay, the argument being, if you're watching porn and pretending the girls are under 18, is a better thing than.
I find America very interesting in that is they're a very repressed kind of culture for that kind of thing, and yet at the same time they are the kings of jailbait. They jailbait everyone.
Well, Randy Pitchford's into that. That was what I said it was. And there was.
He was doing magic tricks. Remember, she was doing magic.
Oh
tricks.
yes, because he said he wasn't watching for the porn. He was watching because she was doing magic tricks. So has he been like Bangkok or something?
But like I can understand watching something for the spectacle of it, but again, it's the barely legal thing, and now it was. As much as Randy Pitchford's a scumbag, it was used to drag him. It was used to drag him through the mud.
It was a typical American character assassination sort of court tactic. Mind you, Randy Pitchford does appear to be a strange person. Can't really defend him on that one. I've got to be honest. It's if look, magic tricks, whatever. Pull the other one.
We do live in a world of e-fuck, so that's legitimately all that is. So I get it, but at the same time, should you be showing that to your work colleagues? I'm not convinced that that's a good idea.
All right, next podcast, number 43. Actually, I did hear a rumor that the guy that does Duke Nukem's voice hates Randy's guts.
I mean, that would be interesting.
I don't. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a rumor.
John St. John.
Is that his? Yeah. Just a rumor. All right, cool. We get Jill Stark. What show up the date? I can't see the date. It'd be mid-April, April 9. So Jill Sand's PlayStation 5 controller was announced.
Yes.
Or shown. It looks like a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Oh, actually no. It looks like it's stormtroopers from Spaceballs.
Yeah.
So, it looks dumb. Oh no, what's it like to use? Have you used one yet?
I haven't touched it, but it looks bad. The new Xbox again. I think one of the later ones we waxed lyrical about it.
The new Xbox ones?
Yeah, about the new Xbox ones. But I don't know. Again, everyone, because the main reason it came up was because everyone was going on about Astro's Playroom. I'm pretty sure they were like, "Oh my god, how cool is all these things that the thing does?" But it never really did any of it. Do you know what I mean? So it sucked. I don't know.
Okay, well, if you look at the PlayStation 4 controller, it had that touch thing on it.
Yeah.
Nobody used that either.
No.
So Sony does like to announce these things, make a big hoo-ha out of it, and
then just never use it.
Do you remember they changed their controller to not have Rumble anymore and said nobody wants it anyway?
Yeah. That was the original.
When they had a patent dispute with the owner of the Rumble.
Yeah, that was 6-axis. And so instead of having Rumble, you could turn it. And so then there were certain sections of Killzone that you couldn't get past if you didn't have a 6-axis controller.
Yeah.
Because if you had a DualShock 3, you couldn't turn the handle because the thing, or if you were using an aftermarket controller, and you couldn't turn those parts off. At least with Switch games, you can turn off motion control.
But they think they were Nintendo, and
they were. That's what they were doing.
That Sonic game on the Wii where you had to
the
jump
worst.
like this.
That was the worst one with when you were trying to speed run Donkey Kong. Was the roll was that? So you had to sit there and do this, where you're trying to do precise button inputs. It's like
bite me. The Sonic game was like that for the spin attack.
Yeah.
All right, well we got Capcom talked about remaking Resident Evil games. E3 2020,
which I think 4 has been announced since that. So
okay.
which was like the worst kept secret in the industry.
And E3 2020 announced in April that early April. It was dead, super duper dead. Which actually became a trend.
Yes,
especially anything in America.
Definitely wasn't the first one. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. What are we up to? What number is that?
43 is the next one.
Could
44.
Yeah.
What's that one?
No, that's not it. There we go. With the one with Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, now this one, Cringy joined you for the podcast because I went into hiding in mid-April because being an over 50 in the risk group, although my wife had a good point. In China, everyone who said the coronavirus was killing the old people, but she was actually reasonably sure that there's potential of China and Italy was killing old people. That it was just the old people weren't being prioritised for treatment, especially in the Chinese. With the Chinese number of cases, you've only got a certain number of defibrillators.
Yeah.
Who gets them? So
the triage situation is more
So we got this belief ingrained in the population early in coronavirus that people over 50 were more.
Which I mean, they're always going to be inherently more susceptible, realistically.
Yeah, because you're not as healthy.
Yeah.
But
whether that's a particular attacks of a certain age or it's
Well, it would appear with the numbers that have come out since that maybe it's not as clear cut as that.
Lots of 40-year-olds dying, lots of 30-year-olds dying, like in America, especially big fat Americans.
That's something the Americans don't want to talk about. They want to talk about their leaders and stuff, but they're overlooking their food can be pretty dodgy.
Yeah.
Their poor communities can be overweight.
Yeah.
High diabetes because the food they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy cheese
Even
in
in
America.
and obviously we have that issue in Australia as well. Like it's cheaper to buy the family a thing of fish and chips than it is to you know what I mean, like
fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, you've worked all day. Both of you have worked.
You've got 3 jobs. You're not cutting up veggies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there's some other, and there's also their health system where it was at one point $3,200 to get a coronavirus test. Whereas here in Victoria, you could drive up to the shopping centre,
wait 2 hours and
tested for free.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of other things going on there. I think that people weren't being 100% upfront about at the start, but it ingrained some beliefs into
the common sense nature of it, I guess.
Yeah, people still hold those ideas. Now, basically at that point, I said, I'm not coming to do the podcast. So Cringy did the podcast with you. That's where I was going. So what do we got? So Sony gave away Uncharted for people who were playing at home. Switch firmware, let you change the control layout. Switch shipments in Japan got suspended. Now, okay, that was the other thing that happened with coronavirus. The supply chains took a real hit.
Ask anyone looking for a PS5.
Well, I actually pre-ordered over Christmas a Polymega. Have you heard of a Polymega? It's not a Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, it's a retro game console. Oz would love this. Basically, it's a retro console that does PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn.
So it's disc-based.
Yeah, disc-based, and it's got a drive in it, and basically it's an emulator box, but it's a proper like not a Raspberry Pi. Seriously, if you emulate stuff with Raspberry Pi and you try and tell me that's good, get stuffed. It's a pain in the ass, and nothing ever works 100%. Oh, but you can run RetroArch, whatever. It never works 100%. Yeah. This Polymega is a proper console with apparently an online store coming, so you can buy old Saturn games and play them. And if you have a disc-based Saturn game, you can put the disc in, it'll copy it to a hard drive, and then you can play it without the disc.
So raw rip them, yeah. Okay.
Which means I can play Virtual Fighter Kids, Baku Baku Animal, Dragon Force, things like that, or without having to use a disc, because some of my discs are cracking.
You get Dynamite Cop too, couldn't you?
Basically, I don't know if I've
was
got
that Dreamcast? Or was
Dreamcast,
that
that was
Dreamcast,
pretty sure Dreamcast.
Sure?
But anyway, look, it doesn't do. They've said that it might do Amiga CD32 and Dreamcast in the future.
Yeah.
Which would be fantastic because that'd round out all the games I care about. Dynamite Decker, pretty sure that's Dreamcast.
It was Dreamcast, you're right.
Yeah. But anyway, so point being, that was supposed to release last year, but that's been delayed because, as with everything else, supply chains out of China. There were maps of
Die Hard Arcade on Saturn.
There were maps of the pollution over China, and when the coronavirus first hit, and they told everybody to stay away from the factories, the pollution just went down to almost nothing.
Yeah.
So supply chains around April were really taking a hit, and there's still some things that are suffering now.
Yeah, again,
it's taken a long time.
I think you can go into some stores and get Xbox consoles. I've been approached by EB people, hey, you still got mates who need one, yada yada yada, but you still can't get a PS5. And again, I said it early, like Sony.
The series still can't get one.
Yeah, good luck. Sony is so
for the best. It's for the best. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, serious, because this is another thing we probably don't have in this. But we don't have in these podcasts, but we discussed this a lot last year. If you're buying a PlayStation, you're buying the same games over and over again. They want to make the games $120, was it US, whatever. They're going to be expensive, $70 US, I think 120 Australian. Whereas over on the Xbox, you buy your Game Pass, and people are going, oh, what launch games for the PlayStation 5? Well, it doesn't matter on the Xbox Series X because all your old games play forever.
Yeah.
Which is like,
and a lot of them just got upgraded. So Gears has the Xbox, the Series X upgrade. I've been playing a bunch of Game Pass stuff that all got free upgrades and stuff. Problem is then you have to transfer them to the internal memory, which kind of sucks. But yeah, because it runs quicker off that. One day you'll talk about delays for coronavirus. Is this Murasaki?
MG?
Yeah, because I was like, so that's been pushed back until the end of the year because we haven't filmed a television episode since about that point.
Yep.
We haven't been allowed into the studio to do it since then. All the things that I wanted to do have all been pushed back 6 months, so I can definitely understand the idea of everything kind of sucks.
Everything took a hit last year. Okay, cool. So Murasaki Gemu, still coming.
Yes.
New Game Plus Travel, still coming.
Yeah.
I guess that was in Japan. Don't know when that'll be.
That's probably Murasaki will be out before then.
So there's a few things need to take hold. Now, next one, podcast 45. All right. Yeah, we're probably going to come into a series of a lot of Xbox Series X stuff. All right. Next, we did say the next gen reveal.
That's like this is on with Galea hosting.
Yeah, Jamie stepped in. Thanks, Jamie, for filling in for a week. Basically, not a lot there.
Yeah.
Basically, the despite the coronavirus supply chain issues, Microsoft and Sony were at that point clearly desperate to get their consoles out last year.
Yeah.
By the end of last year, because that was what they both pretty much committed to. They didn't want to let either one have a head start.
It was bad enough that Halo got pushed back. Yeah.
Well, look, if you look at what happened with Cyberpunk 2077, it's a good idea now. Microsoft, if they were wondering whether they should hold Infinite off, they know now.
Yeah.
They know now. Don't try and straddle two generations.
Yeah.
Just go for the main... Because no matter what you do, the bad generation version is going to be the one that gets focused.
It's judged on, correct, yeah.
And I believe that's unfair. Look, I've got to be honest. If you're playing a newly released... If you're playing PC game, right, that just got released, and it's a really, big hype game, and you pulled out your Pentium 2 with your CGA graphics card and went, geez, this is shit. You know what? But that's your fault.
I mean, that's even you go back further. Like Sonic the Hedgehog was on Master System. We got a port on Master System, but it was a Mega Drive game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So when you try and go back that generation, you're gonna get things that don't work. Now I don't know how bad 2077.
So I played on Series X. So for me, it was buggy, and it was kind of immersion breaking.
But was it buggier than when Skyrim came out?
Play like a Fallout game.
Yeah.
So I said to everyone, like, if you treat it like a Bethesda game, it's fine. But
or Fallout 76.
Yeah. No,
like
Fallout 76.
So look, I think it was very unfair. But I think, but Sony and Microsoft, we were starting to hear in April that they were going to bring their consoles out that year, which I think was a mistake. But they probably figured everyone was sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah,
and they probably their projections were saying that there were going to be lockdowns. They would have people saying, hey, you know what, this thing's going to be bigger
than you think,
and they're going to have to, and so you want to be in everybody's houses.
Yeah,
at that point.
For sure.
All right, move on to the next one.
So that's 45. So 46 is the next one. And we get to like 55 at this point.
We have the one with PewDiePie. I use PewDiePie. I know you're a big fan of PewDiePie. My kids watch him all the time. They love him. Boobs of Violence. Here we go. Mature ratings. Cyberpunk 2077, the last one. Okay. Basically, the discussion. Okay, it's a common thing when you get, especially comes to America. What's worse, nudity, boobs, or people being dismembered and shot, right? And it's always been the case, and it doesn't even matter if the cultural influence on outrage has shifted from the religious right to a bit of a regressive left, you call it, sort of thing. There's still that Puritanism that coming from the extreme. That's horseshoe theory. I believe in horseshoe theory. So you end up with the same sort of thing, but there's always this underlying in America. They're okay with the violence side and the gunplay, but not.
America's always had a problem with moral authoritarianism, and that's what it is. At its core, it's moral authoritarianism. If you don't believe the same as us, you are the outgroup, and that's why America is unique in that everyone outside of the Native Americans is there of their own volition. They all signed up to the social contract, quote unquote. Yep. That was meant to be that land of the free nonsense that they claimed originally, as opposed to everything else that actually happened. But yeah, I think that it is that moral authoritarianism of you have done the wrong. Like, it's such a weird Americanism. That,
we're discussing between Last of Us, which had a lot of violence in it, and Cyberpunk 2077, where there's a lot of talk of customizing genitals and the trans stuff and that. Basically, the underlying acceptance of the violence is okay, but anything that's sex related is bad, and
we definitely have that in games over here too. So.
Yeah, and you see it online, and really, if you a lot of media takes their cues from Twitter, because Twitter is basically the media chat room these days, a journalist chat room that the public can watch as well. There's still that attitude. We discussed that in that podcast basically in 46. PewDiePie signed was a $150 million deal with YouTube to stream games on YouTube. Now, I still maintain, I said one of the early podcasts that there was a rumor doing the rounds that PewDiePie and some very big YouTubers were going to jump to another platform, either create or jump. That rumor had been around, and then YouTube tied. Now, let's be clear. Generally, the big YouTubers really have a deep respect and admiration for PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Because he was the first of them. So
and he was the first to know how to play the system as well. Like
he played the game really well. He worked it well. He denies it. There's a good thing by Matt Pats where he goes into how he did it. And look, it's true, and good on him. That's just
why not? I'm not going to feel sorry for Google. So yeah,
he played by the rules. Google hates him for it. But anyway, so YouTube in this is the start of May. They signed a $150 million deal with PewDiePie to stream exclusively on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that was to stop what was happening because it was. And you know what? If they did it now, having a look at in the last few weeks or months what my kids have been showing me, the Dream, Skeppy, Technoblade, all those, they're their footy players. They're their Dusty, Buddy, all those. They're Hodgie. They're those guys for them, right?
They have your husband in this.
They have their posters on their walls and stuff. They watch their stuff, right? They could jump ship and they could make a mess of YouTube.
Well, I mean that was also the Dr. Disrespect on the flip side of it is just how he got kind of screwed over by that same thing because it was right as Mixer died. He suddenly disappeared off Twitch, and he hasn't been seen, but now he's popping up on YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if there was a non-complete
a Mixer deal that.
And there was a Mixer deal that fell through, or he was going to push for everyone to jump over, and then Mixer fell through, and then it was either a non-disclosure agreement or a non-compete clause or something like that, and just Now, or he took 2 months off because he's a millionaire. So.
Google employees are just unionised.
Yeah.
Good
on them.
Yeah. Look, Google. Yeah, the whole tech industry in Silicon Valley needs. They need what people think.
Yeah, Elon needs a brick through the window to remind him. Yeah.
There just needs to be some changes now. But in saying that, if the large content creators unionise effectively. They could do real damage to YouTube because people don't realise it, but the Minecraft scene especially is still such an enormous part. In fact, again, I know Luke said, Matt Pat. Matt Pat's one of the most intelligent commenters. I don't care what anyone else says on these things, and he's makes a good argument that without those Minecraft streamers, including PewDiePie, YouTube wouldn't have been what it is today. Now YouTube wants to be TV. YouTube wants to be commercial TV. Now how that's going to work? Because now they're trying to show you trending news. Now that's great. The trending news at the moment it's all like Trump stuff, right?
Yeah.
And everybody gets excited. They click on it because everyone's addicted to the orange dickhead, right? But when he's gone, they've got a problem because suddenly that trending news stuff's not interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to see some old dickhead talking about boring shit, right?
Yeah.
It just won't be the same.
It's the cable news problem. It's what took us from the standard news cycle to the 24-hour news cycle. That was suddenly you had to pump it up, and so suddenly you had to fill that time.
The first Iraq War. Yeah. CNN built itself in the first Iraq War. Media was dead before Orange Man came along.
Yeah.
Media, especially in the US, cable TV was dead. Orange Man's rejuvenated. MSNBC and CNN, they have just made so much money off. And Orange Man's fed them free content like every day. They didn't even have to work for it. Now they're going to go back to being dead. YouTube has committed to being a TV station.
Yeah.
They're at a real risk now because the TV content won't be as interesting because there won't be the same. Colbert's going to have to go back to being funny, right? Because he can't sermonise every week about the orange dickhead. So they've got a real challenge there. If the large Minecraft YouTubers, if they did band together, unionise or jump ship, YouTube's still massively exposed, and that's why I'm going with that back there.
Yeah.
That's why they tied up PewDiePie because PewDiePie is the king of them.
Yeah. If nothing else, even if the content starts to wane or whatever, he's always going to be seen as the face of YouTube, whether they like it or not. The face of YouTube is PewDiePie. The early days it might have been Ray William Johnson or whoever else, you know what I mean, in those early meme days. But the modern face of YouTube, as pushed up by the 13-year-olds of that era, now the 18, 20-year-olds. That's why he starts all missing.
Yeah, and you know what happens? Do you know why 80s music or 80s stuff had a revival? It's because everybody who grew up in the 80s suddenly got into a position where they had a lot of money to spend, and they were a very lucrative market. These PewDiePie market will get to a point where they're in charge. I mean, we talk about should we have a segment on the show saying we're not the target audience? Yeah. We're not, right? Yeah. I'm especially not. I'm way too old. Anyway, so
memes,
good on PewDiePie. What else we got there? Okay, we did ask why isn't there an Assassin's Creed game with ninjas yet?
And my answer is still always it should be Meiji Restoration as opposed to that, and I'll stand by that till I die. I think that was about Tsushima, wasn't it? And Tsushima's even set before Ninjas and Samurai anyway, isn't it?
I don't remember. EA wanted to get back on a Nintendo, but does Nintendo need them now?
Because that was after EA fucked over the FIFA launch, where they basically re-released the 2020 game with the same price tag.
Electronic Arts, I don't know. Look, does any console need them? Really? I know soccer.
Game Pass has got it. Every EA game. They do pump out the occasional good game. That Way Out game was good.
Way Out.
Fallen Order was okay.
How was the
Squadrons was okay for a Star Wars game.
How was the ending of Way Out? Was that so unfair? Yeah. I don't want to do a spoiler, because if anyone hasn't played Way Out, play Way Out. But the ending is just so...
That was an EA game? Yeah.
It's just... the ending hurt because it was just so unfair.
Yeah. That's a spoiler.
Well, play it because it is worth it.
Yeah.
It is worth it. And even if you've had a spoiler happen, still play it because you can do the multiple endings.
Here's the conversation about spoilers. I don't really care about spoilers unless they're super intricate and super detailed, and because every story has been told before. There's nothing new anymore.
Oh yeah, but this one's so worth it.
But what I'm saying is how you tell the story is what makes you unique. So you know what I mean? The core, knowing the core things that happen doesn't mean that you know how it happened. Doesn't mean that you know the emotions. Doesn't mean you know how well it was presented. Doesn't mean you know how well it was acted. All these things.
It was done well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't care about spoilers. People say, I don't want to spoil anything. Well, I don't care. As long as you don't go into specific minutia, I don't really care.
Well, I'm not going to, but A Way Out was done really, really well for a really... I felt an unfair ending.
The only game out of all the ones at the stupid Game Awards the other day that I really thought looked cool was that guy's new game. And it's like the silly 3D platformer with the...
He looks actually like Leo, doesn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
He put himself in the game. I didn't know he had a new game. I'll look at it because the writing in A Way Out was the star.
Yeah.
So you can write good games.
Think of every... Okay, I'll try to explain this to people. Think of the best games or movies or whatever you've watched about the American zeitgeist that have been written. So the Wild West. All the best westerns were made by Italians. Weren't even made in America.
Oh,
they were made in Spain.
I thought they were samurai movies.
Yeah. Well, so Fistful of Dollars originally was... Fistful of Dollars I'm pretty sure was made in Spain by Italians. Yeah. Right? Or that's how it always worked. That's why all the Mexicans look very Italian, because so they're Spanish or Italian, and and obviously Mexico has that that Spanish blood there. But it's not the same. They don't all look like that. Anyway, moral of the story is...
I didn't know that.
The best way to look at American culture and what American culture's become is always from the outside. So that's why even, all these games like... what was
Grand
the last
Theft
one?
Auto.
Don't know. Grand Theft Auto, made by Poms. You know what I mean?
Grand Theft Auto is just a piss take's not the right word. It's an absolute commentary on American culture.
Always is. Red Dead Redemption, even that, as a sad game, if looking in, is still, again, made by Americans. Made by Englishmen. So the bits that make them the unique things that they are. Like Dan Houser quit, Laszlo quit, all these people quit. I'm not excited for Rockstar Games at the moment because all the people who actually gave them the perspective that they needed are gone. It makes me sad.
Yeah, well, they've bottled lightning a few times.
Yes.
You can only do it so often.
Look, I still think they've got a better
Except the table
hit
tennis.
rate than they... Table tennis is their best game. Sorry.
It's not the same.
Bully's their best game. Table tennis is a tech demo that costs you $5.
Yeah,
Bully's their best game.
Bully, I probably should.
Yeah.
Because Bully looked like... The marketing and the presentation looked like you were playing the role of a bully, but you told me that's not the case.
It's very much the opposite. Yeah. One day I reckon what we should do is we should go through developers' list of games. Maybe this could be one series of podcasts we do.
Yeah.
Let's put it up on the stream, and we'll literally tier list them, and we'll go, all right. So what out of this company's games do you need to play? A plus B. I think that'd be a good one. Anyway,
I'll do Sega. Let's start next week.
You don't do Sega because you don't know what good Sega games are.
Okay, we asked back in May, where's Game Pass and Live Gold going in the future? I think we're saying that Gold will go and it'll become an all-in-one.
Because guess what? At that point, Gold had been removed from sale at stores. You couldn't buy 12-month Gold at stores. So I reckon that was the plan. And then COVID kicks in. Suddenly they realised none of it we can't do it with Halo like we wanted to. We wanted to make Halo the first game that combines the two tribes. You have Game Pass, you have Halo, you have Xbox Live, done. It's one thing now. But they couldn't really do that. So they've started releasing 12-year cards in, which means you can do the $1 deal if you haven't done the $1 deal.
You did a video on that, didn't you?
I did.
It's on a YouTube channel. Yeah. Go look for it, everybody.
Yeah. And so,
New Game Plus TV.
Maybe I'll just make another one for Facebook. I'll make another one soon anyway.
Yeah, well, look, it's Game Pass Ultimate, which is probably where it's going to be. That's where it's going to stay, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, they've got two now. One is they still have the one with no online play, but still Game Pass. And they had the one with online play. So
which is Ultimate, and Ultimate gives you PC access as well.
And that's going to be really the only difference, whether you get online play or not online play.
I mean, like Netflix still offers a standard definition option in 2021.
Yeah, I upgraded mine to a 4K option.
Yeah, I don't need 4K, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I got a 4K projector.
Well, I got
that
46 inch monitor in there, and it does 4K, but it's like a 46 inch. You can't really tell the difference.
That's one at the end of your bed.
Yeah,
so
it's good. Yeah.
So anyway,
and then the last one is AFL video game.
Oh, the player rankings, because they had some absurd player rankings in the AFL game. Look, footy was kind of dumb this year. So, but
it was the ultimate asterisk year. Again, I've always said I don't think Richmond's actually played a grand final against a real team. And
mind you, I will give credit. I'll give credit because if Oz is watching or listening, he's going to be hitting the screen right now. But Dustin Martin played one of the great finals games I've ever seen. He only did 4 things in the game, and each one was a goal. Right when Geelong didn't need it, and he just killed them each time. It was brutal the way he did it. Just popped up. Like, I think he did 4 goals. Each one was just popped up right when Geelong would have thought we got this. He just popped up and wrecked him. It was one of those ones where you go, man, that's just real arsehole stuff.
Yeah.
Just the pure power of the dude. He didn't deserve his last 2 Norm Smiths because Hooley deserved one, and I think the other one could have been anybody. But this one,
Bashar Hooley.
In 2017 was it? Yeah, that was the first one. He was.
Oh, you're not taking this year. Yeah. Okay,
he was injured this year, but in 2017, Bashar Hooley was the best.
That was what threw me because I didn't think he played in the grand final. I thought that was a whole thing.
Do you know a story? I actually am told by an ex-AFL player.
Here we go.
I've heard this story from an ex-AFL player who's still involved in the media that he was told that before last year's grand final, before the 2019 grand final, was told by the Norm Smith medal voters that they would be giving Dustin Martin 3 votes that day.
Wow.
That's 100% true story. He told me, he said he was told that before the game that was what they were planning to do. Dustin Martin's going to get my 3 votes today for the Norm Smith. There you go. So I actually
that's some Goldsmith tier. Like, I imagine he's under Heard doing that. It's 3 votes me. James.
Okay,
3 votes me.
There was one, since I'm on a roll,
AFL chat,
I want to get myself in trouble. I was also told by an AFL player back when Dane Swan...
We get angry calls from Hutchie.
You will be actually. Why are they talking to me? Dane Swan, the year he should have won the Brownlow and Chris Justin did. I was told beforehand, now I might have the timing wrong, but I was told beforehand by a player, he said, watch what happens this year. He said, Dane Swan's easily the best player in the competition.
And he was too. It's such a shame what happened to Dane Swan.
I think he won the year after or something. But anyway, he said, watch what happens. Said Demetrio, who runs the AFL, hates the tattoos, hates how he looks. And he said, what will happen is they're going to swap some 2s and 3s. And what you're going to find is someone like Chris Judd is going to find his 2 votes become 3 votes and might win, and Dane Swan miss out.
No.
There you go.
But I mean, who would have thought that Demetrio and Gillan McLaughlin are an old boys club who don't like, they don't like scumbags,
When you get told something before it happens, this ain't like 4chan.
Yeah.
This
has happened before.
This is people.
How can you prove
this
it?
is when people, ex-players involved in footy media. I won't be saying the source. But in the one I said about the Brownlow, there were other people who can back that up.
I've always wondered whether nowadays you could get away with asking Dermie which way he's bending today. You know about that, don't you? The story about him in uni.
I was going to say, what's that to do with it?
Because look at it, because he's had so much plastic surgery and stuff. Is he still hard enough to go ya? You reckon he'd punch her? Like, I don't know. I reckon it'd be worth a crack.
Let's be clear, this isn't anything to do with the other 2 rumours. This is to do with his dick.
Yeah.
Okay. If I ever get a chance, I'll ask him.
Good luck. Yeah.
He'd
still probably take you. I don't know. I reckon him up. Yeah.
He'd kill me.
You turn around and be like, yeah, we're good. You turn around, dirty Irish, back of the head. That's when he'd get you. I'm allowed to say it. You're allowed to say it. You're McDermott.
I'm Irish. Anyway, what are we looking at here?
We can take that back. We can take back the thing. Because you know the funniest one for me at the moment is
completely unrelated. Completely unrelated to I don't know why we're talking about Dermie's dick now, but
completely unrelated video games. The one I love the most is when people call like you're an Irish, so they call you potato. And like
Diddly-dee, potato.
you call them on it.
Danny
I call them on it all the time, and I'm like, well, hang on, what do you mean? Like that's how the British killed us. Are you saying that we should be
poison our potatoes?
Yeah, but yeah, just like we died to poison blight, we had to ship it all over and it caused the famine. So are you saying that should be what we're known as from this point onwards? Do you think that's and just watch them freak out because this is 2021. You're not allowed to do stuff like that, but apparently you can to the Irish. And so then when they double down on it, that's when you just go full nasty bogan. I have fun. This is how I do it.
We're like privileged white boys now, apparently. But my dad tells me that when he wasn't allowed, he was Irish Catholic, he wasn't allowed to ride on the same school bus. Yeah. As the other kids, and when they have no jobs for Irish or no Irish applied, that was the thing. That was actually the thing. Irish people were used as slaves, although they picked me up in technicality there.
It's a chattel slavery.
That was a different sort of slavery. The United Nations doesn't care; they still class it as slavery. And when they, I think it was something about being called a donkey. An Irishman was cheaper than Irish were actually cheaper than black slaves. Yeah. And cheaper than donkeys. So.
And Jack's watching you, checking your t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go, Jack. It's actually a bit tight now. I've put on a bit of weight since I got this. But,
everyone has it. It was lockdown.
Yeah, well, it's there you go.
That's all right. I can see who's posting it. Don't worry, Jack. It's fine. Let's go on to the news. Let's go on back to video games instead of making people feel awkward on Twitter.
It's Hex and Barjo. There you go. Hey, Barjo.
I'm Barjo. Yeah,
I'll go with that.
I hope I'm Barjo on this one. Sorry, Jack. We can see it. It comes up with the name on top of it. We got about 15 minutes left. 15 minutes. So let's do some good ones.
Next one. I can't remember what it was.
So we'll talk about Sony being back in top form talking bullshit because that was where they were.
Sony talking bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's normal. That's every week.
Yeah. So
we could just do a podcast of what Sony... Actually, anybody who's bored, go to the YouTube channel. There's an Old Game Plus video. We went through Sony's old ads. And they are so sexist and racist.
The penis thumb. Yeah.
Sony is the most sexist, racist company in their ads.
So this is the funny part, right? So
go check it out, people. On YouTube, New Game Plus TV. Look for Old Game Plus playlist. Sony's in there.
Your mate's in Resetera, right? There was a great link the other day, and I'm pretty sure it was either Resetera or Chan, one of the two. And someone was saying it was
dickheads everywhere.
Yeah. It was a dev from CD Projekt Red, and they were saying that Sony was so upset with how things were because of all the refunds and stuff, and Sony Japan especially were upset. And I wonder how much power that actually has nowadays because Sony doesn't care about Sony Japan. But then Jim Kelly came out and it was a recent article because we'll talk about recent stuff as well. We do that occasionally. Recent article talking about consumer confidence in the Sony brand in Japan has dropped like 23%.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah, and Jim Kelly came out specifically. Oh, we still believe in our Japanese friends and blah. I was like, but you don't. You've shown like you've lost your big heads of the Tokyo studio. They're gone. Like they've moved on. You're losing all these people. You're definitely not being Japanese anymore. You've become an American company.
Was the thing that helped Sony beat Microsoft in Japan the fact that one was a Japanese company, the other was an American company? Okay.
And it understands the sensibilities of that audience.
Is the thing that's hurting Sony now is that not only are they an American company based out of California, but they are obviously like wanting the Chinese market above others.
That's what they've moved on to.
And for Japan, would that be an issue?
The Tencent buy-in, the Epic Games collaborations, all that points to them, and the censorship as well. And I hate using the word censorship. It's like they covered up my anime TV.
Well, it still happens, right? It's overused. Many words overused, but they still happen. It's like conspiracy theory we said before. It's overused, but it still happens. Yeah. Right? So
they've moved on. The way that they do approval for content is instead of it being you get approved in individual offices, you get approved in total. So if you don't get approved for all of them, you get approved for none of them, right? That's how it works for China now. So, because they're doing relatively Chinese
okay.
So that was like Anime TD had to be covered up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because China's cultural department, or whatever it is, has standards for what games can have. Which is why I wrote that thing on our website that killed our ranking for a week, went to half our traffic for 1 week. Mysterio, I still don't know how that happened, but as soon as I published it, half of the hits for 1 week and then back up to what it was.
Yeah, learn your lesson.
Bizarro. But as I said, China's the social justice warrior. Now, well, people call it the social justice warriors that are doing these things to gaming, but it's really being done for China's cultural board. Now, sure, there's a Puritan crowd in California who are all for it, but they're not the ones it's being done for. Yeah. They think it is. They think they're being handed to. They think they go on Twitter and go, "There's too many anime titties," and but really, it's all about China. In fact, almost everything we've seen has been about China,
especially the last 10 years, for sure.
Yeah, it's been about because there's 600 million gamers. which means there's more gamers in China. There are a lot of them mobile phones.
You can have a failure in China and still be more successful.
Yeah, 10% market of the 600 million gamers, and you've made more money than you will in every other region, right? China has more gamers than all the other regions combined. Yeah, that's just how it is. So everything we're seeing, we've had these debates online. As a social justice warrior, it's not. It's China. When they have to clean up their chat rooms, it's for China.
Yeah.
Because China has strict requirements on what can be spoken about. When they clean up, when they have scandy clothing. We talked about this.
When they clean up what? Students off the road with hoses? Like,
apparently that never happened.
Yeah.
So,
making it all up.
Yes. But when they clean up the costumes and that, when the costumes can't be showing a lot of female flesh, right? That is for China.
Yeah.
That's not because some dickheads in California are tweeting about it.
Yeah.
Now they're wrapped. They feel like they're winning, but they're irrelevant. They're as irrelevant as every other video game buyer in this whole decision.
I mean, Alana did a really good video about that, about how, like, we talk about reviewers and we talk about all this, and how could you give it a 7 review out of 10, blah, blah. And Alana's point was, I think you underestimate how little impact reviewers have. Reviewers might have an impact on your later sales, but not your first 2 week sales. And your first 2 week sales are where you make most of your money.
It's advertising.
Yeah, and they might down the track go, someone goes, oh, it's on special for half price. Is it worth $40? Review such and such game. Bang.
Oh yeah, because there's a point if your game goes $5, I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
Especially on the Switch, I'll just say, yeah, $5. I've got some points left over.
I've actually, one of the first videos I'm going to make for the new year is I bought a bunch of cheap Switch games so you don't have to. I bought $50 worth of credit, and nothing I bought cost me more than $10, and I bought 9 games, I think it was.
Did you see that apparently if you price your game less than $1.50, and I assume that's US, on the Nintendo store, you won't go into any of their
rankings because they got really exploited early on.
Yeah, and that's so it doesn't become a mobile phone game hellhole. All right, cool. What we got? That's probably it. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk. They announced back in May you could.
And that was you getting sad about Naughty Dog letting you kill dogs.
Oh well, yeah. Well, see, this is you can't trust what's on the internet. I joke with my kids. It's on the internet, so it's true. But there was talk you could kill people's dogs. I had a bad feeling about it at the time. Look, I haven't played the game, so I can't say if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. I honestly can say what I want about the game, but I can't say it's a good game or a bad game because I haven't played it. I have no right to. And I think everybody should take that approach. If you haven't played the game, you can't comment on it.
Yeah, I think you can comment on the things around it. You can comment on the marketing. You can comment on all that.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you know the quality of the game, and it's like with a lot of the Cyberpunk.
I can't say it's a shit game because I haven't played it.
Jack Sandy picked up a bunch of EB games, and apparently his discounts still work, so that's always good.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. No one feels sorry for GameSpot.
Don't tell him. So, all right, now what we got? We have to
48.
We have to May.
Let's go to 54.
We are going really slow.
Okay. We were going fast for a while, and then we started talking.
Yeah, well, because we're talking about what the implications are now, like how things have come. We're probably going to get to a point where we're rehashing things that are more relevant,
get to
more
50
recent.
soon. Yeah.
All right, so okay, I don't even have the numbers anymore, but basically, I think it was something like 10 times as many people had a Game Pass than had the PSN. Effectively. Now, somebody did point out the words I used there were wrong because there's there's PSN, there's the one that comes with games, and there's just the one that comes with 2 games.
They hit 10 million Game Pass subs in April.
Okay, now where we're going with that, and we were talking about this in May. Basically, the money on 10 million subscribers, and this was back in April, and that would have gone up now. 10 million. How much is that?
It's like $8.99 American, isn't it?
Okay, so if we go 10 million is not $90 million. $90 million per month they were getting. Now, $90 million per month going into Microsoft pockets, that means they had very deep pockets. Now, in comparison, I have a funny feeling that PSN numbers were like a fraction of that. Now, $90 million a month, that's a lot of licenses they can do. And since then,
$9.99 a month, so yeah,
$10.
$10.
So $100 million a month going into Microsoft's pockets, $1 billion a year. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
You're the maths wizard.
No, what, by 12?
Well, yeah, I can't do
so
12's a hard number.
10 million by 12?
10 plus 2. So
10 million by 12 is, what, 120 million?
120 million. So
what the fuck? You don't do that one.
No, $100 million. So if it's 10 million subs times $10,
yeah,
$100 million a month, right? Times 12 months, 100 million times 12 months, 1.2 billion.
By 12, but hang on, you're saying 10 million a month?
100 million.
Oh, because it's 10 by 10. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah.
I must point out, this is the man who, when we were at Fiona Patton's house, I did this before, it was Peter Bogosian and something, they've said, it's like 5,200 times by 3,140. And Jason just blurts out the answer, as if he'd memorised it. And the whole room, we all just stopped and went...
Because I had it in my head that it was 1 million people at $10. I'm like, no, it's 10 million people. I'm like,
you should be at casinos more often. Normally, with your
mates. There's only 12 minutes to walk.
It's the heat's kicking.
And Andrew brings up a good point. TGF, we did the virtual TGF out of my illustrious studio here at home, and $3,000 in charity for TLC for kids.
When it's back on, I must say, people listening, especially on Spotify, won't know what TGF is. TGF is Tech Games Fest. Andrew Owen runs it. I've been to a few. You manage it.
Working with Chisholm, yeah. So
look, anybody who is it'd be fair to say a soon to leave school, who is interested in getting into any gaming related discipline, whether anything from esports, because Kanga Esports was at one a little while ago doing a talk and people met him. Graphics, coding, that anybody who's
even like robotics and things like that as well, engineering.
Getting that. Next time there's a TGF on at, I think it was down Frankston last time, get down to it. If you're like in year 12 or even a uni and you want to get into this stuff, Andrew Owen's Tech Games Fest is really, really worth your time. Yeah, get along. It's just, you can, there's a big auditorium, people come and speak, and like I said, anything from esports, actually coding. If you're interested in anything video game related, you want to get on that. Now, what was I saying? Okay. Basically, where we're going is Microsoft has deep pockets. Yeah. Very deep pockets because of the Game Passes. And we've seen that happen when they went and splurged billions of dollars on Bethesda.
Literally $7.5 billion.
Yeah, and so they have, and it's not just that money they've got. It's that they can borrow against that money because that's income. And this is why companies, especially tech companies, like to go for this subscription model. And in case anyone's wondering why is there a monthly subscription on everything? Because what the tech company can do, and any company that can show an ongoing subscription, it's like guaranteed money coming in. It's like pay, right? Yeah. So you go to the bank and get a home loan, you can say my pay is this. They ask you for your pay slips. A company normally goes and says we sell this many widgets per year, we make this much, but there's no guarantee that they'll sell that next year. Yeah. So the bank's a bit funny about it, and right now banks hate lending to anybody who's not a house.
Bill Gates got to put his house up to get a loan.
Yeah, they're just at that. But what happens if a company like Microsoft, when it has that income, if they have $1 billion a year coming into from Game Pass subs, they know that if there's a drop off in Game Pass subs, it's only going to be a certain percent. Yeah. So they know there's a margin that is, and they know if it increases a certain margin. So when they go to a bank, or they want to, they don't go to the bank like us, but I mean, if they want to borrow money, they're basically showing a pay slip there to people lending money, investors, and that, with effectively guaranteed money. So they say, we know next year we're gonna sell this many Game Passes, and we know it's going to bring in this much. That's why the Game Pass money was so important for Microsoft. It meant
especially at that point,
Microsoft not only had that money coming in and that money in the bank, Microsoft could borrow against it, and as you saw with Bethesda and that, they could borrow. They could probably borrow lots. Yeah. So that's why all tech companies, Spotify and everyone, they all want a subscription because the subscription is the thing for them.
People forget about them. They're just like, it's just people accept it as a cost of business, whereas a once-off cost people will up and up.
And they're not all going to go at once. So all your subscriptions won't go suddenly. It doesn't matter what the disaster is, right? So they can actually go to investors or banks, lenders with some surety, and that's why the 10 million Game Pass subscribers was important, and Sony had a fraction of that with PSN subscribers, and I know there's two types of PSN, somebody picked me up on that at the time, but you know where I'm going. They have less subscribers, which means they have less income. So if Sony's going to say, how much are we making? They say, well, we sold this many PS5s. Now, you saw PS5 suddenly took a hit. Yeah. So suddenly, all their numbers and what they thought they would have done PS5s in March are nothing like what
restricted.
In October, the numbers would have been totally different, and that's the risk they had there. But the Game Pass things, they would have only gone up. Yeah. So Microsoft had far more scope to go to investors with a plan,
which is the three plans. These are the three plans for each of them. Nintendo's doing their own little pixie fairy thing like they've always done. They're cornering handheld. They're cornering the way they do it. Then they're in a different situation from the other two, where they have so much cash. I think they're one of the cash heaviest companies in the world. It's them and Apple are like two of the top 10.
Yeah,
just cash, not market capitalization, not realization, not any of these things. Pure sitting in the bank earning
interest.
0.25% interest.
Yeah, and the interest it's earning, they can probably run the company off just the interest.
Yeah.
Do you know that's actually the when people think they're wealthy, right? The actual definition of wealth that is used amongst wealthy people is can you live off your investments, not your income? Yeah. The moment you
that's actually the definition between capitalism and not capitalism.
But that's if you can live off only your investments, then you are wealthy in that crowd. If you need income, you need to work, then you're not wealthy. It doesn't matter how much you got. Doesn't matter how many assets. If you have to earn money, you're not wealthy. But anyway, Nintendo is wealthy. Yeah. They could basically run the company off their interest.
And so they're doing their own thing that way. Microsoft have doubled down on the subscription service. They've doubled down on the value add that thing is. And Sony have gone the more traditional route of the console launch, the spectacle of it. And the problem is the spectacle got hampered. And so
E3 dead. Yeah. So Sony's a bit of a dinosaur because their game prices are just going to go up. They want to make the game prices go up. Microsoft has gone, hey, you just give us $15 a month, you can play whatever you feel like.
Yeah. If we make it, it's included in your thing.
Nintendo's got a niche product, and they're just going, we're just going to take this market and own it. And Microsoft has turned around and said, you can. It's yours. We're not even going to compete with you.
And we'll release some of our games on this thing. And if you ever want to release on ours, you're welcome to.
It's only a matter of time before XCloud comes to it. Yeah. We spoke about it a few times last year. Where Sony is a dinosaur. Sony is stuck in the old release cycle, the old hype cycle. Now that's great, but I said many times last year, I don't think it's going to last for Sony. Yeah. They don't have the income coming in. A lot of people say, "Oh, but they sell this many TVs." I don't care. The fact is, I think they're a dead company. It's only a matter of time. And you see now, you can't even buy PS5.
I felt like that for the last 5 years. Again, that's why I say I always, as much as I pick on Sony, I credit House and I credit Leighton. I carry all those people in that era who were so smart to capitalize on the weakness of Microsoft and just snatch back 5 years of life. Do you know what I mean? Like that was purely on their. I want to say brilliance, but they were just smart. They were just cunning.
Matrick handed him.
Just handballed him.
He handballed it up in the air.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, Jack said, "Don't I think game prices can?" Yeah, look, game prices are going to be up and down, right?
Yeah.
But the push at the moment that you keep hearing about, it's an underlying push of wanting higher game prices, and that keeps coming out. And that
they tried it on the GameCube era, let alone now.
So. It only impacts Sony. Because you can talk high game prices all you want. It's not going to matter to Microsoft. Because look, Microsoft already, their first-party games go straight to Game Pass.
Yeah, or they sell them to you for $79 on the store.
They own Bethesda. It's only a matter of time before there is no real non-Game Pass game on Xbox. Yeah. I'll call it now. In the future, your Cyberpunk 2077 will be on Game Pass when it launches. I
have no doubt that the actual plan for Cyberpunk was always release DLC within 1 year of that last DLC, Game Pass. Because they had the Cyberpunk variation Xbox One, remember? You know what I mean?
I reckon Microsoft's plan is to not even have not even have new games that go out as retail.
Yeah,
I think
they'll do both. They'll still sell Bethesda games on Sony platforms.
Yeah, Sony, but not for them, right? So the only games that are going to go out retail are Nintendo and Sony.
Yeah.
And then, now, Sony people go to me, oh, but we've got all these exclusives. Well, Nintendo's got way better ones.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to beat you in that game every day of the week. And it's portable. And for that's a market.
And they're starting to cater to the Lost Vita / Sony crowd that Sony's ignoring anyway. So you get that ongoing people who will pay $100 for a game because it's anime waifu. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think a new game. Look, PC, yes, but that's a different conversation. But I think...
I think Steam's still weaker than it was, but I think Steam is still Steam. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's, Yeah, that's right. Microsoft's paying in GameSpot every time they sell codes.
Yeah, just for now. Look, video game retail, and you can see with EB here in Australia,
Zing combined shops and stuff.
In Eastland now they're next to each other. And you know what? That plan would have been in place earlier for EB to become Zing effectively, and that'll be elsewhere. But I reckon what slowed it down was the death of Skylanders. And then Disney Infinity, because while they were going gangbusters, and it's easy to forget how many Skylanders used to be in like Kmart's and stuff.
For sure.
When Skylanders pulled the pin, and that's still a mobile game. where you don't get the toys anymore. You just buy DLC dragons and they can fuck off. I want a toy. And Disney Infinity bailed because
you sound like a Happy Meal, like fuck off, I want a toy.
And Disney Infinity was just such a poorly managed game. Anyway, no, I don't mean nothing against the people involved in it that we know. They're great people, but the fact is, from Disney high up, it was just such a poorly managed game in every way.
Well, they took the Toy Story 3 open world thing, which was great, and in its time, just so innovative. And it came out of that era before Minecraft had really established its dominance in that world. And when people had been, like, kids are now accustomed to blocky graphics. Kids look for blocky graphics.
Roblox and Minecraft are the biggest games in the world.
Roblox is so big. I think it was like they made like $4.6 billion last year or something.
It is in the billions. Roblox is way bigger than anybody realizes. Just like I said earlier, Minecraft is still way bigger than a lot of people realize.
And that's a Microsoft property.
And they paid $2 billion.
Yeah, that was they got a bargain.
They did. Yeah, they absolutely got a bargain. And at the time it looked like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
we love now. We got $7.5 billion going for Bethesda. $2 billion was a huge deal. Everyone's like, "Whoa, $2 billion!"
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And because Codemasters just got bought recently by EA as well. It was mentioned EA earlier, and that was only $900 million. No, $1.2 billion in the end.
They got outbid. Yeah, I remember that.
That was Take-Two went for them first. They got outbid.
Yeah.
So.
But some of these big games, like Grand Theft Auto, still makes a ridiculous amount of money. Roblox makes billions. Some of these games which we don't see because the hype cycle in like respectable video game media, right? We don't do the kid stuff. We do the cyberpunk stuff. But outside of that, it's such it's an iceberg. It really is. And what we don't see if you only hang around the normal sort of video game media is underneath the sheer size of your Roblox and Minecraft and that, and even it's easy to forget that Grand Theft Auto still makes enormous amounts of money.
Because I for a long time have wished that because they've been flirting with it for a while of re-releasing Red Dead Redemption 1 and the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine, which I think would just be the best thing they could ever do, right?
I like that idea.
A lot of the Red Dead Redemption 1 issues were pacing and gameplay. It was like Grand Theft Auto 4. Biggest issue for Grand Theft Auto 4 was the gameplay, right? It didn't feel right. They tried for this realistic thing that didn't work, and it was. Whereas GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 find the perfect balances for both those games. So they're re-releasing that engine. But I mean, all the GTA DLC is online. It's all online heists. It's all thing. They're finally giving the option to have private servers now, because for a while you had to basically, you'd have other people invading your servers.
Which is what a Realm server is in Minecraft. Probably so you pay per month and all your friends can jump on.
Yeah, which I always hated. But now you can turn that off.
Look, for kids, if you've got a group of kids, and I see this I bought a Realm server for my son to play with. My daughter's playing with all of her friends have got Realm servers, right? They invite their friends on, they play, they make stuff. It's their little world, they chat while they're doing it.
It's the WoW of this generation. It's the Zoomer WoW. Is what I try and explain to people. It's like that was what WoW was for a lot of millennials. As in, like, it was a chance to chat and stuff, and you've got this repetitive task you can do while you're talking to your friends. That's Minecraft now.
Yeah, they do. They basically just while away the hours chatting. My kids will open Skype or Discord with their friends. They'll have their group on. They'll be just blah blah chatting about stuff. Oh, school sucks, so on and so on. But then in the background they're just playing. So it's a bit like watching a stream, but they're the stream. Yeah. So
because I'll go to EB and I'll hear them, like, kids coming up all the time. Like, oh yeah, the mum will come up $20 Roblox card, please, or whatever. Like,
well they shouldn't stop it.
Let's do one more 49, and then we can start 50 for next week, and then
no problem.
Have it out. 49. Metroid for some reason.
Yeah, why put
Samus.
Metroid in? Yeah. A game event's over. That was what I asked.
Well, there you go.
Game event. Well, yes. Okay. Well, I said go to TGF next time. It's on Tech Games. Look, I think the reason I would say that is E3 lived off the launches. Yeah. It lived off the launches of the big consoles.
Yeah.
And even the big games, and the big games now. I think you're going to see big games launch. Look, No Man's Sky and now Cyberpunk 2077 means these big pre-planned launches. You know what? They're probably not going to happen as much because I think, and I hope that the video game management sees what happened with both those games and says, you know what? In future, we're not going to just say a date and say, deliver it by this date. Because it doesn't matter. You'll all code it. You're all very clever people and all that bullshit, right? I think now that you're going to see more, they'll finish more before they... A bit like Apple used to. Apple used to finish their products before they announced them. They just didn't tell anybody. So that impacts E3 because E3 now so people don't get as excited about a new Xbox and that's going to wane because people aren't going to in future because the Xbox is just going to be an incremental upgrade. It's going to be like a PC upgrade, a new graphics card every couple of years. it's not going to get the same hype as a new console, because a new console comes with new games.
Yeah, that's a Sony conversation. That's where Sony's doubled down in that old
They're
mindset.
the only ones.
Yeah.
Nintendo bailed on these things ages ago because they said, we don't trust anyone anymore.
Yeah,
We're
right,
doing
right,
anything.
yeah,
Yep. So you've only really got Sony, and Sony, I think, is going to be less and less of a key player. So to me, the idea of having an E3 style event is pretty much over. What I think the social events like PAX are going to be cautious for a while because they can't mix, and you'll find that there's a big parts of the community who are like, you know, anti-mask and all that. Not in the video game area. You'll probably find that generally the video game fan base, the communities are like that. They're way more cautious. They're not going to be turning up going, oh, is my amendment right to infect you with germs? They're going to be careful. And because the gaming public that goes to PAX and events like that are going to be careful, you'll find the events will be.
And again, not to be that guy, not to perpetuate the stereotype, but a lot of immunocompromised people are video gamers, avid video gamers, because they couldn't go and play sport, because they couldn't go and play whatever. So again, there's that double extra layer of protection on top of it. You know what I mean?
And I think that's going to really impact something like PAX, because PAX is a community event, even though I do reckon it's an industry event. The community's allowed to come along and not touch anybody, but it is a community event to the attendees, to the people that go. The attendees are going to be cautious for a long time. I don't think what's happened in the last year is over by any measure. I'd go so far as saying in Australia we haven't seen a first wave. We think we have. I just don't think we have compared to everyone else. Right? So
I think again that's why we've been smart about it so far, realistically compared to a lot of other countries.
There's a lot of people trying to be not smart. Yeah. And they won't learn until something bad happens, and that's a pity. Yeah. But basically, I think E3's gone. E3 has nothing to offer now. It's except a networking event for industry people, but they've got PAX for that. I think PAX as a place for gamers to go is going to really struggle. Yeah. And Jack said PAX has felt less community each year. Yeah, look, PAX. Jason knows I'm not a fan of PAX. I don't like how it's done. I don't like the split where it seems to be to me a bit of a
unwashed masses.
Aristocracy and the gamers sort of thing. That's how I've always viewed PAX. My first PAX I went to before I was New Game Plus, it just appeared like that. And to me, that was a real issue with it. But I know there are a lot of people I know who are like normies, love PAX. Like, people outside this whole area that may even be fringe gamers. PAX is their thing. Yeah. They love it.
Sure.
It's like the Melbourne show to children, to them. So there still is that sort of a very large normie group that loves it, that loves the environment, loves the cosplay, loves going along and checking out stuff. So I think
let's come back with Simon. He mentioned xCloud, like whether xCloud, I think xCloud is always going to be fine, but Microsoft at the moment are in that position where, even if the adoption rate of xCloud isn't like Stadia, where Google is relying on Stadia to sell itself.
Stadia got an adoption rate.
Because they have that backup gaming business, it doesn't matter to them as much. You know what I mean?
What if xCloud... last time Jack said something like that was when I said EA fapped themselves into a coma. So thanks, Jack. It's aristocracy and game. It is. But anyway, xCloud, xCloud, I think... where it says, will it kill the console? I don't think so. Yeah. Because were you going down the path of you don't see xCloud in the Stadia model actually being a thing?
Yes.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Because it's an option. You can go, cool, I can do this as an option, but it's not something you have to hard commit to. Whereas Stadia, you kind of have to hard commit to it. Do you know what I mean?
That's the product. Yeah. I think xCloud has a place as Sam. Now, Microsoft already said there may be an xCloud app for smart TVs. Yes. Right? And so Google probably won't put one on the Chromecast, their new Chromecast that has Android TV built in, but the Android TV boxes will put one on. When they start doing that, then I can see normies picking up and playing a Candy Crush or something.
Plus, when it's also done, Microsoft's streaming capability from your console, through their pipes, that's what they're pushing as part of xCloud is you download it to your thing and your thing runs the server basically or acts as a conduit point. All that, Steam's done that for years, Sony's done that for years, to various levels of success, but usually it does the job fine. Again, I think having options is never a bad thing. That was the issue with Nintendo in the Wii era, was that they removed options. They didn't give options, they removed options, and that was the biggest
problem. Only could wiggle. Wiggle.
And the reason I bring that up is because we're talking there about Metroid Prime Trilogy coming to Switch. Now, we've sat here and talked about how great Nintendo were doing. What were the first party Nintendo titles that released this year?
The old Mario games.
Yes. which are,
Three
by
old
the way,
Mario
digital exclusive. You better get them before March, or they will disappear off the store.
I bought them the other day.
Right,
with one of my kids' Christmas presents.
Pikmin, which was a Wii U remake, and Animal Crossing. Right? Have you heard anything else from first-party Nintendo since then?
Nah. Have they had to?
No.
Does it hurt them at all? Because they've turned into Steam.
That's what I wonder. That's my question. Is I'm like,
they're portable Steam.
They've gone back to their old ways, forced by COVID for sure. So they've gone back to their old head down, bum up kind of ways. But I don't think it matters when you have so much filler on that store. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the filler helps buffer that. Whereas previously the Wii U's issue was you get one great Nintendo title, see you in 6 months.
When I was saying Nintendo quality over quantity, there was their seal of approval and all that stuff. I think Nintendo is a totally different discussion to Microsoft Sony.
Yeah.
I think, and PC is another discussion again. I think when the Stadia and xCloud argument, Jason's right. Stadia is only Stadia. Yeah. There's no other option. xCloud is sort of like a term covering a few things.
Yeah.
So yes, I think the streaming of Xbox to another device in your house, they kind of already do that with the app.
Yeah.
The streaming stuff outside, look, I personally don't see it, but in saying that, I may not be the target audience.
Yeah.
I think the future of these things and what Microsoft can do, and Amazon, if they're smart, and maybe even Google, the style that Elite Dangerous or I've said it again in the podcast, Minecraft Realms do, but where you've got a client and a massive server on the back end, and I think that's the area that the video game companies haven't got into yet, where basically we get thinner and thinner clients running the games and thicker servers.
Yeah.
And company like Microsoft with Azure can do that. They can have, and I don't know where Elite Dangerous and stuff run, but they've got an entire galaxy running on their servers, and you're just running a client. So I see that.
Is that how it works? So is that how it works with Elite Dangerous?
Like, you're not running it on your Xbox.
Because I wondered that. How do you have a game that big on your console? It takes up like terabytes.
And Elite Dangerous, Elite Dangerous is killing itself. That's another podcast.
Well, that was one of the other points in the thing.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay. It is. It's
because they're going down the first-person shooter now. Like
they've added Guardian technology, where there's an ancient race, and you have to go grind to get their special technology. You get longer jumps and shit. It's all bullshit because it was a beautiful game, a very science game, and Elite Dangerous. The draw was basically you customize your ships and that, but it was a 1-to-1 representation as far as they could do it of our galaxy.
Yeah.
So everything, every star, every planet, every nebula, everything in Elite Dangerous on that server is what they think our galaxy. And when they find something new, when scientists find something new, they change it, right? So if you go see a planet orbiting around a star, that is actually happening.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Elite. Now, they can't run that on your Xbox.
No.
I mean, how many stars are there? There's more stars than grains of sand, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they're running. And to me, that's where, if you've got a game like a future Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead, the online server that they can run, and you have a thin client, I think that's where, if it goes, they can offer some real deep, massive gameplay, open worlds like you've never seen. You can't believe.
We're at 70 minutes is all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, anyway, so but as far as the xCloud stuff goes, the xCloud stuff may or may not catch on. It may not. It may be just a thing. It may get used like Steam in-home streaming, even that's sort of dying. I don't see anybody doing that anymore. Whereas Stadia, as you said,
the home stream will always
be
something that's handy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want to lay on the couch and whatever. And again, once you've got it on your Switch, game over. Do you know what I mean? I can stream from my Xbox to my Switch. I'm just going to sit here and play.
I think people will use it on their phones, and that's about it. I just don't think it's a compelling thing for the general population as well. I think it's more exciting to Microsoft from a tech thing in their future.
This is the thing. Kinect would have been exactly the same thing if they hadn't have leaned in on it. Do you know what I mean? If Kinect gone, here's a cool thing that we're doing, but look at all the applications for people can do motion capture now. People can do the holo tablets and the holo tables and all that kind of stuff. People go, that's all very cool, but like,
HoloLens never saw light of day, and that was one of their most exciting technologies.
Yeah. And Matric lent into Kinect as a consumer product, which I don't think it ever really had the potential.
They made the mistake that corporations do, where they say, we want everybody to use this, so we'll force them because we know better than the public, right? Yeah. And this is where corporations always make that mistake, because the people running are massive disconnected wankers. They go, we did it to a degree. Everybody will use our motion controls for every game, so we'll put it in. It just got really frustrating. Yeah. And say Matric did it with a lot of the Xbox stuff. We think it'd be a really good idea to go down this TV media center path. let's not have it as an option. Let's force everybody, because I like it. I mean, it's like Homer shooting Marge with the makeup gun.
Always online, subscriptions, all that. It's like, because that was the standard. Everyone in technology did it. It was like you bought a license, you know what I mean?
But normies aren't normal. We're not normal, right? So we look at... But I think this idea that people like what I tell them to like, tech companies fall into that trap. All tech companies do.
Yeah.
And that's where they let themselves down and everybody else.
For sure.
Now, xCloud, Stadia and all that, I think they're in that basket, personally. I think xCloud is more exciting to Microsoft as a technology than it is to the public.
Yes.
But as you said, you don't have to use it. Now, xCloud will have technologies there, and this is why I'm talking about the server client stuff.
We have Azure. Here are the things Azure can do. What can we do with that technology? And I think that's the kind of way it has to work. Of here is this great pinpoint that we have. What can we use it for? As opposed to how do we take this thing that we want to do and and force the thing around it? It's like Azure servers are fantastic. They compete with AWS on a lot of things. I think people underestimate how much of the world is run on AWS, though.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
All my stuff is.
Yeah. And it's like, and so they're like, we have these Azure servers, they do these great things. How can we utilize that to further the rest of our businesses? I think that's the smart thing. You've got an asset. How can we leverage the asset?
I'll put like 120 different businesses onto AWS, personally. So it's a lot.
But then if you don't watch it, because of your Parler account, you'll get them all taken down.
Now I created a Parler account. I want to be clear on this.
Admit that.
I did. No. I'm gonna say why, and I think people need to understand this.
75 minutes.
Always create an account on every social media network, and the reason I say that is because then you get the name.
Yeah.
Then you get. So I'm McDermie on everything, right? I don't want somebody creating a Parler account or a Gab account
and then pretending they're you.
I mean, and then it's really hard to stop. So I grab it. Now I don't have to post there. Yeah. I don't even have to go there. I don't log into Parler. I can't now. I don't give a shit, right? It's not my scene.
Has it down yet, or?
Yeah, as far as I know, AWS pulled the pin. I don't log into Gab. I played on Gab earlier, and there's a bunch of dickheads, right? But I don't care. But the thing is, I tie up McDermie as a name, and I think businesses need to do as well. Now,
we missed that on Mixer. We couldn't get New Game Plus TV.
Yeah, so you've got to. So when a new platform comes along, you've got to get your tag on there because you don't want somebody else getting it. This is just me. But see, if you're New Game Plus, right? We need to do that as well. Because we want New Game Plus TV on everything. Otherwise, there's New Game Plus TV on these things and something else. Luckily, Mix is dead anyway. But because Microsoft do cancel things all the time. Everybody in every business, I would say my professional recommendation as an internet professional is do it.
Jeremy McDermott, internet professional.
Well, I am. And I would say do it because you don't have to like Parler or Gab or anything. You don't have to be there. Get the name though, because you don't want somebody else having it. You don't want, and if you're a big company, you don't want somebody pretending to be you, because the damage that can be done will be really hard to undo. So do it. It doesn't mean you support the network. It does. I don't necessarily support Gab. I don't support Parler because I don't go on there. I really don't give a shit about them. Right? They're idiots. They can have their little thing they do. But I don't want somebody else pretending to be me. Now that's only me personally, but for a company, if I don't have GMAC internet accounts everywhere because I just haven't. I do on Facebook. I don't go as else. But if I was doing that, I would do the same thing with a company account, and I would recommend any business to do it as well.
Before I pitch anything to anyone, I go and get the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like Twitch accounts.
Or just do like IGN and use our name anyway.
That was about this time as well.
But no, it doesn't mean support. I want to be very clear. It doesn't mean support. It doesn't mean you're supporting. No, it just means protection. I don't want somebody else. And look, I could be susceptible to that because somebody could jump on and pretend to be me. And in some parts of video game media, I have a reputation that I absolutely don't deserve. But if somebody jumped on Parler and pretended to be me, there would be people who would be very ready to believe it. They would be far too ready. Now, it's not me, obviously. You've heard the podcast. I'm not what some people think, but they do. So I'm better off having that as sort of locked away. I don't have to use it. I don't have to log in, but nobody else can.
Yeah. Easy. Very let's wrap on that note. So
okay, cool.
Next week we'll come back. We'll do one more. It'll be 50 to about 65. We're getting through about 15 of them at the moment per episode.
Well, I have to make look. What we've done with this, we've tried to look at what happened, and that's what I wanted to with this. Probably would have been really good as every day of the week leading up to New Year's. But as it was, Jason was dying of coronavirus.
So we're still on TV for now. Oh my god, we're still on TV for now. Don't forget to check out the website, all those channels. The Monster Hunter Rise demo's out, so I might stream that a bit later. We'll see. But at the moment, we're all just taking a bit of a break because of coronavirus and hopefully Fem has some good answers
look,
for
this
us.
is everything's been up in the air last year. It will still remain up in the air this year. I don't think everybody has this psychological cut-off. New Year's Eve 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, finally everything. No, this is normal now, and nothing's going to get back to normal anytime soon.
Yeah.
So everybody be adaptable. The only way
I say to
anyone,
anyone, if you're expecting to go to an event with more than 100 people in the room before August, September, I think you're deluding yourself. And even then, if you do go, it'll be masks for everyone.
Look, the vaccine's still only new. We still don't even know if the vaccine's going to work to the numbers.
In that extended,
And so, look, and there's not being any, it's just, we just don't know a lot right now. And if there's new strains, like they keep talking new strains, if that turns out to be true, it makes it hard for the vaccine as well.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be something like the flu, and there's a new one every year, that's why we can't have a permanent vaccine flu. There's so much unknowns now that at this point in time, everybody just has to sit back and just say, well, what happens, and we'll just roll with it.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Yeah, 2021. Get it?
Yeah, she did that last week. But yeah, just be prepared for more. And in fact, events, right now.
Yeah. But you can stay tuned, watch our cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Keep up with us on socials. I've got some videos coming out probably next week, I would say. I just got to put some thoughts down and get them out there. I've got to tell everyone what I'm doing. I do this. I just think of things and I tell everyone later.
You guys talk on Discord and say a whole heap of stuff in Discord that would be really, really good public.
Yeah,
there's some that wouldn't be.
Mate.
There's a whole heap that if you guys were doing on, like, say, Twitter, having the same conversations, you'd have a big community.
Yeah.
But you all do it on Discord where it's hidden.
More fun. So
join Discord. Join Discord. The good stuff is happening on Discord.
We won't recruit you for alt-right, despite what the news will tell you.
The news, anybody who's out of the Silicon Valley Cool Kids Club is an alt-right side as far as they're concerned. Discord is used by, it's probably got some alt-right people on, but it's used by such a wide variety. It's like people say, oh, gamers this. You know what? Half the world's population are gamers, so you can't really generalise. Discord's the same. But get on New Game Plus's Discord. Go to the website. There's a little sliding bar on the side now that has the Discord, because that's where the real stuff happens. We should be online, but these idiots won't listen.
And speaking of, don't forget to check out merch store as well. Simon, I think Dermie said he'll send you a t-shirt. I've got a jacket for Luke as well. Remind me to give it to you.
Okay. Yeah. I sent him a bunch of stuff for Christmas.
Okay. Well, I've got a jacket for him as well.
So NewGamePlus.tv, the website, New Game Plus TV, one word, on almost every social media network except Parler.
For now. Yeah.
Well, it's dead.
Yeah.
So
he'll buy it out. It'll come back as something you watch.
I said predictions before. I've got predictions I'm really sure, and I would bet large amounts of money on happening, but we'll see how it goes. Love you too, Simon. I get nice feedback like that.
I don't get nice feedback like that. I get people on the streets telling me about the worrying concerns of immigration. I'm like, this is cool. I'm just at a Woolies. So it's that meme. It's like, sir, this is a Woolies. It's like, you know what? I really hate those people. I'm like, this is Woolworths now. I'm here to buy like a rotisserie chicken and fuck off home. Like,
no matter what you say, always assume that half of the people who hear or read what you say quietly disagree with you. And I think that's a safe thing everybody needs to adopt.
And again, I think at the same time you've got to realise whether you care or not. And I mean, at this point in my life, I kind of don't.
Most people say they don't care. Very few genuinely don't care. So, but anyway.
You sound like the Pants Brigade.
Pants watch. Yeah, I'm wearing pants. There's no pants there. He's sitting next to me with no pants on this whole podcast. That's why I'm wearing.
Your masculinity's intact.
I'm wearing. Well, my masculinity's intact because look at this shirt.
Yeah, the hex are very masculine.
How much more masculine can it be?
Oof.
There we go.
So, all right. On that note, bye. We'll leave you there.